What's up, guys? Welcome back to Mix Talk Monday. It's Brian here with MachineMasters.com. I want to bring you guys a video today on a subject that I get asked a lot about, and that is how to get that hard-hitting drum sound in your beats, in your instrumentals, in your mixes, and how to get that really desirable sound in hip-hop where the snare is cracking, the kick drum hits really hard, and there's a lot of sub bass to it, and overall just how to get hard-hitting drums. Now, to do that, it's going to be something that people call parallel compression. Another term for it is New York compression. It's a little bit complicated, but once you get used to it, it's going to bring a lot of life to your drums, and you'll get that really professional, full, hard-hitting hip-hop drum sound in your tracks. So I'm going to show you guys on the screen what I'm talking about, and we'll get right into it. So let's hop on the screen. Okay, so here we are on the screen. I just brought in some drum loops from the Boom Bap Loops Volume 1. Just so you could have a clear example, so there's no vocals or synths or anything in the background, and you could just get a clear shot at what I'm talking about as far as the parallel compression. So I have everything set up already. This is the drum track right here. This is my auxiliary bus. You're going to need an auxiliary bus or a send bus in order to do this, as it is a send effect. So in order to do that, you want to just create an auxiliary bus or a send bus and create the input to a bus that is available. Obviously in this case, bus 1 and 2 is available because there are no other tracks. And then from your drum loop, or whatever you want to create the transient enhancer or the parallel compression effect, just create a send to send to that auxiliary bus. So you have this bus 1, 2 send fader right here. As you could see, the fader is all the way down right now. It will be all the way down until I create all the settings on this thing. So let me hop over to this compressor. You can do it in pretty much any compressor. Some have their own little advantages. For example, this H comp by Waves, it has the little punch knob, which will give it a little more oomph than you will get doing it normally. But for the most part, all compressors will be able to do it as long as your settings are correct. So to start off, without any send effect, I'm going to just play this loop for you so you could hear it. So it's pretty simple. It's a it's like a sample kind of loop. Booney Mayfield's like known for that kind of sound, so it comes from his kit. It's available on MachineMasters.com as well, so if you want to check that out, feel free. So the first thing that you want to do is bring up your compressor. The whole point of parallel compression is to squash the sound as much as possible. Now, in order to do that, you want to set it up sort of like it's a limiter. So turn the ratio as high as possible. In this case, it's up to 50. The threshold, you want to squash it as much as possible. And then the mix, since it's a send effect, we're going to keep it on 100% wet. If this was an insert effect, which I actually don't advise against, it would be turned down to maybe somewhere around 30 or something. You'd have to play with that setting. But I do suggest using this as a send effect as you get more freedom with the sound and more creativity. Now for the attack, I would bring it all the way down so you get a really quick squashing of the sound. And then you want to bring this release down as well. So now you have this compressor open, and the settings are set to how you want them to sound for the most part. You might have to tweak, actually you probably will have to tweak things once you're listening back and turning this knob up or fader up rather, as you are mixing. So I'm going to play for you, and I'm going to slowly turn this fader up, and you'll see what I'm talking about with the transients popping out a little bit. So as you can see, it is pretty noticeable. It does give the drums a little more of a punch. Now for this example, I want to show you what this punch knob does. I'm seeing it on more and more compressors that are coming out. This H comp is actually pretty old as far as when it came out. I forget when the hybrid line came out for Waves, but it's probably around I would say 5 or 6 or even longer years old. And this punch knob actually does wonders. So I'm going to turn this up all the way up to 0, so you're getting the full send. I'll play it for you, and I'm going to turn this punch knob up so you could hear. So just take a listen to this. So you can see that it does give a lot of punch, and as you also probably noticed, it did clip a little bit, so be careful that you don't get any clipping with this, because that's not the sound you're trying to go for, unless you're purposely trying to drive get a purposely driven tone, which won't work as well digitally, unfortunately, compared to analog. But I would try to stray away from that clipping. In the long run, when things get mastered, you'll be able to notice those things a little more than you will right now. But for the most part, that is parallel compression, newer compression. The whole point of it is to bring out those transients that are going to sneak past that compressor right in the beginning and push the volume for those hits, the transients, for the kick, the snare, maybe the hi-hat even as well. So just play around with this. Sometimes you might have to mess around with the settings. Sometimes you could try bring the attack back a little bit, so that way you could have more of the original transient come through before the compressor actually turns on. It takes a lot of tinkering with. As I said in the beginning of this video, this is a little more of a complicated technique, so you're going to have to practice a lot with it. Don't expect to get it right off the bat. Some examples you'll be able to hear it way more than others. Sometimes you actually won't even be able to hear it at all, because the drums have frequency responses in ways that it won't really give you a lot of punch. So really just, you want to practice with it. Just keep turning knobs. Just use this as a basic guideline, and from there you'll really be able to understand what's going on, what knobs to turn. And just like that, you have it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. I'll be sure to answer everything that I see. A lot of times I don't see some people's questions, so if you want to email me, you could email me at machinemastersmixing@gmail.com. Any specific questions, please do that, because I will get back to you faster. If you have any ideas for future Mix Talk Monday videos, any advanced things, any beginner things, feel free to leave it in the comment section or email me again. I'll be sure to take that into consideration for the next Mix Talk Monday video. I'm always looking for new things to talk about. So until next Monday, guys, I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.